Hello, welcome to another episode of Stockbridge Sketchworks. Today we are sketching Jack Nicholson's Joker. So basically this is a figurine. This is a photo of a figurine of Jack Nicholson, so it doesn't look exactly like him. So I'm going to be sort of adapting it a little bit to make it look more like him. And this is probably going to be in something like 3 parts. And let's just get started, really. So, because my paper was quite dark, I couldn't really see through it to sort of do a accurate guide. So I did it all pretty much by eye. And decided to sort of, trust my instincts. It is unfamiliar territory and it is quite scary, but it has a lot of benefits. I don't normally do it like this, but I'm in a mode where I'm experimenting and I'm using colour pencils, and so I will be trying to accurately recreate the colours of his shirt, for instance, his hat, the red of his lips and the teeth, etc. So I don't remember the type of pencils that I'm using. Oh, Polychromos by Faber-Castell. And you'll be seeing all of that pretty much really, really soon. I did start off using a HB2 pencil, but because this was predominantly a colour sketch and mostly black, I did switch over to a black, a proper black coloured pencil. I'm just starting with what, I know, if that makes sense. So I'm doing this because I have always wanted to do something for my long-time friend, Mark, and Mark and Alan. But I've been thinking about what I can do for Mark more so than Alan. For Alan, I kind of think it's kind of it's easy. I know pretty much, or I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do. But for Mark, it's quite an open door. So I kind of spent some time looking through some film images, some popular film icons and stuff, and this one kind of jumped out at me, and I decided that it fits my tactic with experimenting with colour, because I've got some quite stark colours here, the purples and the oranges and the bluey sort of green of his tie. So I thought, this is great. I'll do this, But I did kind of, gulp when I realised that the paper was too thick for my light box. Like, oh shit. So I'm doing this for him, and so yeah, I do have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do for Alan. That might change. It's not final yet. These guys are the best, man, and I have a small handful of friends, but these guys are the ones I've been with, pretty much the longest. No, that's a lie, but I've been in touch with these people consistently for the longest, and they're just dear friends of mine, and I wanted to sort of give something back to them. They've been really, really kind and supportive of me this past sort of year, and yeah, so I hope they do like this. So the process here was getting the basics down. I have a number of different reference photos that you can't see of Jack Nicholson as the Joker. So I am looking at them, and I'm just making sure that I've got, you know, the basics down, because I loved the angle of this source photo here, but I wanted it to look more like Jack, because it's close, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have the movie Jack Nicholson's sort of, you know, gravitas. It's a great looking Joker, but it's not like, you know, Jack Nicholson's Joker. So getting in the line of that nose there, it's pretty difficult to see that, you know, so I kind of just decided to, you know, trust my instincts with that later and just make it a guide. Okay, just moving on to the lips next. My previous sketch, Peter Gabriel, was the real sort of first experiment with colour, and I sort of went over it a few times, you know, not being happy with the result. I didn't look at the original coloured version of that photo because I didn't want to be influenced in any way. So I just kind of, you know, made up the whole lighting thing on my own, and decided to, you know, have certain colours on one side rather than the other, and the smoke is what I wanted to sort of accentuate a lot with him. So yeah, it was a special sketch for me, that Peter Gabriel. It wasn't a request, and this isn't either. But I would like to say that you can request me to do something for you. It can be of anything you like. It can be a family member. It could be of a celebrity. It can be of a pet, whatever you like. But you need to subscribe to me, and you need to sort of contact me. You can either put a message in the comment on any of my videos. I'll see it, or you can email me. No nudity. You've got to be over 18, and it can only be of one subject. And the chances are at this stage I'll do it for you, because my viewing levels on my channel aren't like, you know, the more successful ones. But I'm happy with that. To be honest, I would like to sort of grow organically and not force the situation. Because I am genuinely just sort of giving, you know, things out for free, essentially. I'm doing everything for free, pretty much. I do have a couple of other tasks, but largely, yeah, everything is free. So, just finishing off the outline of the face. Got to sort of make sure that I've got Jack Nicholson's, you know, his what's the best word to use? His presence, I guess. I've always been really terrified of using colour, you know. But I've embraced it now, and I feel like I'm better equipped. I've spent all this time learning about, you know, anatomy, muscle movements, and all that whatnot. But I've not really sort of experimented with colour, and it is about time that I did. So pretty soon you're going to see all of that. So I always really loved Jack's Joker. I always felt like it was the best mixture between comedy and drama. You know, he brought that essence of mystery about him, because you didn't really know whether he was going to, you know, shake your hand or electrocute you, you know. He was that sort of villain, and he was a showman. He would sort of, you know, he was a joker. He used to play tricks and stuff. And that's his whole thing. That's his whole bag, you know. And not all of the actors who have portrayed the Joker achieved that, in my opinion. They've either been just full-on dramatic or full-on comedian, or, you know. But they are good in their own sort of right. And I would put Jack as the top Joker that's ever been portrayed. I would follow that up with Jared Leto's Joker. I liked his Joker more than I liked Heath Ledger's Joker. I didn't like Heath Ledger's Joker. And, you know, there's been, you know, a couple of other actors who have played him. There's the one in the 60s TV show. But, you know, I never sort of, you know, put any weight to those. You know, I just think Jack got it right. You know, he got it spot on. I tell you, I never looked back at this photo. I never stopped. I just carried on. Trusted myself. You know, I'm looking back at it now and I'm thinking, oh my God, it doesn't look anything like the picture on the right. Not really. But I just trusted it. Okay, so I think I'm nearly ready with moving on to the white pencil. Just drawing in some lines here. I am going against the normal grain of what I would normally do, being that I normally just sort of go in and do mid shades, but with this one, because there's so much white, I just thought, well, just jump in and go from there. All right. The eyes look a bit wonky, but won't be a problem. He's got such a cold, dead stare. You know, the guys who did the figure, you know, it was really good. It's really good work. Those eyes are just amazing. I made a slight error there with the pupils. Go back and sort that out. I end up sort of adapting these a few times before I'm done. Ultimately, that line I just did there, it doesn't really matter because it's just a guideline, but I don't want to mess it up. So with sketching and doing art in general, I suppose you've got to take it slow. You've got to be patient and you've got to sort of trust yourself as well. If you fail, you fail. You know, you just pick up the pencil and try again. I decided to just start with a pencil and a piece of paper, nothing else, you know, possibly not even a rubber. Just because I wanted to just go for it, and you have to give it the time. It's not something that you can get done in a matter of, you know, like an hour or two. If you're going for a realistic sketch, then it's going to take you time, and the more effort you put into it, the better it will be. Some people say that they can't be an artist, and they don't, where they would even begin in order to be an artist. I say that just begin somewhere. Does it really matter? Ultimately, I'm not entirely happy with these eyes yet, so I'm just tweaking them. Yeah, that's probably going to have to do for now. Having a camera hanging over you does bring its own set of trepidations, if you like. It does hinder my ability to see sometimes from certain angles, and I find myself having to adapt for it, but it's not really a problem, and you should find it a lot easier. I'm trying to think of another way to light it better as well, because the lighting system that I've got right now is just not good. I've got one sort of, one light from the right pointing in. It's very uneven. Okay, so I think after this I'm moving on to the colour. So if you do like what you see, and I promised myself I wouldn't do this, but I promised that, that I wouldn't keep saying this either, so, but I'm going to anyway, fuck it. If you do like what you see, subscribe and stuff, and I have mentioned it before, you can win a free sketch. It can be of, anyone. It won't be sold to you, it would be given to you. It's a gift. So you'll need to sign a a little list of agreements, and it's nothing major, but it's just to cover the both of us, because it's not a sale, it's a gift. All right. So here we are, about to move on to sketching the colour in. And first on the list is white. And just jump in, just get started, really. If you do have any specific questions, feel free to ask, contact me. I'll do my best to answer. I won't always be available, but I'll do my best to answer everyone. Doing colour is quite scary. But I cut my teeth on the Peter Gabriel sketch, so I do feel pretty confident in getting this done. I'm almost just not even thinking about it. I'm just going with my gut instinct and letting my hand do the rest, really. Because it's so unique, and there's so much to think about that I didn't really think at all. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you've done sketching and drawing for a long time, you might know where I'm coming from there, because your hand does tend to just sort of follow itself, and it becomes an entity of its own almost. And it's all about your interpretation, because I have the mission of making this look more like Jack Nicholson, and not so much like a figurine. But I also kind of want to go a bit crazy with it, be a bit sort of organic. So I'm going to be adding some weird shit to it later on. You'll see what I mean. I want to be quite playful with this sketch, especially the colour. So I know that ultimately the eyes are going to be a lot duller it's sort of more like a grey, but I'm just sort of filling it in with white for now anyway, because I will be muting that quite a lot later on. The key thing here is to just get the basics done, because you can always go in and darken things, and you want to make sure that as you're sketching in the white here, that you've got the gradient, and you're always thinking about the fall off of that white. As you see here, I'm sketching it in, but the less pressure I put on it, you can see that the better it looks. I could almost sort of just do a white pass like this, put in some black here and there, and just call it done, and it would look, it would look cool. But I'm deciding to go a heck of a lot further here and just see how I get on, really. I try to film everything that I do, because if it does work out, then I can upload it and stuff. Not everything works out, though. So, but, it is what it is, and you just have to move on and try again, or just move on to something else, maybe. Well, one of the first things that I sketched in 2014, after a long time of not sketching, was the actress from The Hunger Games. I've completely forgotten her name. Jennifer Lawrence, there we are. Yeah, I did a sketch of Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss from Hunger Games, and part of me wants to go back and do it again, because it wasn't, the best. Wasn't my best work. So you see what I mean here, that, the fall off with the white, it kind of lends to, the gradient with the colour of the paper I'm doing this on. You see a lot of this on Instagram. If you look up art and scroll through art and stuff, you'll have probably come across stuff like this before. And ultimately, this is where I got the inspiration from. Because I loved it, and, you could, as I said, just sort of do a white part like this and leave it, and, it would look really, really good. But because I need a lot of practice and a lot of inner knowledge of it, if you like, I need to sort of crack on and do as much as I can. The more you do, the more you learn. I tell you what, though, these colour pencils are expensive, man. These, I think these colour pencil set was like, 35 quid or something. It's like, Jesus, man. But, nothing's free. So, yep, we are just cracking on now with the side of his face there, up by the temples. It's really important that you trust yourself with sketching, I keep saying this, but it's very true. Just have a method, have, in mind what you're going to do, what you want to achieve, and jump in. Because it's all about your expression. It's all about how you choose to portray what you see. And I like to sort of have an element of realism, but then I kind of want to mix that up with surrealism, maybe, some abstractism, and, because they are different, and I always felt like I belonged in the colour world, but black and white stuff does have its own romance, it does have its own beauty, and I did stick with it for a very, very long time. And, who knows, I might go back. I'll probably go back to doing some more black and white stuff. I don't know. It all depends what people want me to do, really. but, you know, I wouldn't be confident in doing something that's full-on colour, you know, like worrying about the skin tones of a face at the moment. It's just sort of not an option. Certainly at this stage, anyway. That's why I chose this one, because his face is white. Like, you know, it's just a white pencil, essentially. We're gonna play out the rest of the episode, and I'll let you chill and watch the rest of this on your own. As I said before, this will be in probably 3 parts, and so look out for the next part, probably tomorrow, or who knows. But until then, take care, stay safe, and I will see you next time.